I have an unboxing for you tonight. I know, I've got a few of those. This is for the Soviet Su-85 Su-122 for bolt action. Was sitting around talking with a friend of mine yesterday, and he brought up a picture of one of the Soviet self-propelled guns that was being used near the end of World War II, and it was just massive. It wasn't as big as one of the Ferdinands or the Elephants, but it just was this giant piece of machinery, this huge artillery piece on the front. It turns out, after doing some research, that was the Soviet Su-122. And I was down at Legions Hobby here in Pittsburgh, and while they didn't have the 152, he did have the Rubicon of the 122. And I was thinking maybe this would be an interesting addition to my Soviet force, and we're also thinking about doing tank war, which is, again, another rule set for bolt action, but I'll look at that later. So, Legions Hobbies and Games in Pittsburgh. I will put a link down below to Legions. Really cool little place, can go and play and so forth. And they had this kit actually in stock, or in on the shelf, so I picked it up to bring home. So before I put it together, I figured I would go ahead and unbox it here in front of folks, so that those of you who do Soviets and are interested in World War II type stuff get to see what's in this box. So there we go. You get, the back is kind of cool because it shows you the Su-122, which is an artillery piece, and the Su-85, which was basically a tank killer. The Su-85 came in and it had the bigger gun. I'm trying to remember that. I think the 122. Here actually it tells you. Was running with a gun that eventually got put onto the T-34-85, and that's when they stopped pretty much producing the Su-85s, because it pretty much had a similar weapon that the T-34-85 was carrying. So that's the model kit. I just like the look of it. I like the style of the chassis and the way the machine looks. So here is the instruction kit. 1, 2, 3 sprues, decal, however you want to call it, sheet. A couple of nice markings. 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got some of the Soviet sayings, which are really cool. I don't have to freehand it on that anymore for this one, which is nice. So, see how they go there. Now, this one had the 2 layers of wheels, and this kind of goes together like that, which is kind of cool. This is the 1/56 scale, so you don't put your tracks together and all that. But it looks to be not super complex, but not super simple either. We'll get a look at the sprues here in a moment. Put your hull together, drop it on, make your choice on what you want, whether you want the 85, the 122, and then your final details, again, depending on what it is you're putting on the machine. Okay, so that's the instruction book, and we've seen the decal sheets. So let's take a look at the first sprue, which is the upper hull, and let's go ahead and slide in this one real quick. I like that they package them fairly well, or package them separately. So, gun barrels in 2 pieces, it looks like, for the Su-85. Yep. Well, actually, part of it is anyway. The detail is nice. There's even a little texture to the surface of the upper hull, which is really nice. Got your nice rivet detail. Looks pretty nice. Extra track pieces, both front and back detail, so if you're going to mount them on your hull, it'll have a nice look to it. Okay, so that's that part. Go ahead and look at the lower hull and track, and we'll just rip that into, or the lower and the upper piece. So yeah, your lower hull comes in two parts, so you don't have a hull tub so much as you've got two pieces. Your track detail is it's okay. You've got big seam marks along here, so those of you who do the larger scale, really nice armor stuff, you will be cringing at that, but these are tabletop toys, so for tabletop toys they're not bad. Actually, I kind of like the detail on them, really. The detail here for these parts. Yeah, you've got some seam marks on some of these, but this will go together very nicely. It's kind of simplistic, but it's not, it's not really too bad for a tabletop war game. I like the detail on your tires. That's in there. It'd be nice if you didn't have the seam right here, but it's a war game. It's a tabletop war game model. I know for $30 you're getting, you can probably pick up a okay Tamiya that's around and cheap, so, but not at this scale. Extra tanks, pieces. These are your inner wheels, which are also fairly well detailed. And you can see that the detail there is actually kind of nice. So overall, it's a nice little kit. It's big. It's big. I mean, this beast is fairly large. So my T-34 is about that big in comparison. So this is going to be bigger. And it'll. That's our artillery. The artillery barrel. It's going to be a nice little addition to my force for the my armored force for the Soviets. So I'm looking forward to putting this one together and getting it out there. So hope you enjoyed this little look at Rubicon's model. Rubicon does put out some nice stuff. There's a bunch of other kits that are other makers out there for bolt action. Rubicon puts out. I like this stuff. I like the stuff Rubicon does. It's of the stuff for bolt action, I really like their work. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you're playing bolt action, good luck.